I gotta see a therapist again.
It has been a rough week in the turtle tank. Their self-proclaimed fearless leader has absorbed one blow after another, turning what was supposed to be a relaxing vacation into yet another public unraveling. Instead of unplugging and enjoying time away, he appeared consumed by the legal problems waiting for him back home. A multi-million-dollar civil lawsuit, multiple felony indictments, and the looming uncertainty of ongoing grand jury proceedings.
I can hardly even enjoy the vacation because all this shit. One day I will. One day I'll have a vacation. I don't have to worry about like grand juries and upcoming trials. Next summer. Actually, it'll be next summer. What am I talking about? It's going to be great.
The pressure was evidently impossible to ignore. Rather than taking a break, he once again pinned his hopes on convincing the court to dismiss at least some portion of the legal jeopardy surrounding him. Any victory would do. But that effort fared about as well as many of his previous legal gambits.
The videos that were mislabeled, the Commonwealth shouldn't benefit from what is clearly deceptive conduct in terms of renaming items that, again, nobody saw. Judge Doolin himself referred to the names by their improper name during his ruling.
Which presumes that Judge Doolin was aware of those names and didn't find them to be of any substance because he watched the actual videos.
I don't know. Well, the actual videos that were presented to the grand jury, Your Honor, were 40-second snippets of hours-long video, which were not grand jury exhibits. So respectfully, there's no way that Judge Doolin could have watched those videos because Mr. Mello...
Well, he watched the clips, no doubt.
Yes, but the clips are tiny segments of larger videos that, again, when we get to the real meat of what I want to discuss with the court, would show the full context on the critical issue in this case, which is only one, and that's Mr. Carney's intent. That's the only issue that was really before the grand jury, and none of that was seen in Judge Doolin's opinion because none of that was before.
Because it wasn't raised.
Well, it wasn't raised, but it wasn't known by anyone. Now, again, could it have been? Yes, but the court has the discretion.
But it was known because Judge Doolin referred to it by the titles that you think are inflammatory.
Instead of emerging with momentum, he walked away with yet another setback, adding to a growing list of courtroom disappointments that have steadily chipped away at the aura of invincibility he has spent years cultivating.
You saw what we were up against there today in court. It was, this motion to dismiss. It's pretty clear that they like trials around here. They don't like dismissing stuff. They like trials. I don't know why. It's expensive. It's a waste of everyone's time. But it's not their money, so I guess they don't care. But yeah, so anyway.
As legal defeats accumulate and unanswered questions continue to mount, the bravado is beginning to compete with a reality that appears far less flattering.
Like, everything it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. I can't believe they're making this argument. It's dumb and whatever. But, I thought it went, just walking around here killing time. But I thought it went well. We knew it was going to be hostile. We knew that. Like, everything's hostile with me. But we got our points in. We got to broadcast them. We got to, let it be known that this is all the Karen Reed pretrial hearings were the same thing, right? You knew how Auntie Bev was going to rule about everything. But you got to get your hits in, right? You got to make your point. You got to get your point across. So anyway, that's that. It is fucking sweaty balls out of there. But anyway, let me just read this real quick. Yeah, the grand jury was criminal.
But the bravado didn't evaporate simply because reality came knocking. Quite the opposite. As soon as he had the opportunity, Carney was back in front of the webcam, doing what he does best, reframing setbacks as victories, and insisting that a trial is exactly what he wants.
You want to fuck? Let's fuck. Let's just get in a room and fuck. Do it. It's time to fuck. It's time to fuck. And I'm ready to fuck. I'm always ready to fuck. And if you guys want to do this, I'm not going to lose. I will not lose. Go ahead. Go ahead. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. This is going to be my greatest victory of many victories, many victories I've had over these years to get where I am today. I did not get to where I am today by backing down, by losing. I win. That's what I do. I'm going to win, especially when for the first time I'm in a position where I'm fighting for my life. Okay, my life is on the line here. Like literally, if you lose, you can go to jail. You have to win. You have to win. I've never been in this position before where it's like you have to win. And I'm already in that, and I'm going to win. And the what I have going for me is that I haven't committed a crime. I'm not even close.
Judge Doolin drafted a 36 or 37 page decision, which is an exceptionally fulsome decision from the court, in which he found probable cause for the majority of the indictments.
That claim is difficult to reconcile with the considerable time, money, and effort devoted to trying to avoid one. After all, motions to dismiss are filed for a reason. If a defendant truly welcomes the prospect of trial, spending tens of thousands of dollars attempting to persuade a judge to make the case disappear seems, at the very least, like an odd strategy. Doesn't really matter to Carney, though. When your audience is predisposed to accept every new narrative without much scrutiny, consistency becomes optional. Yesterday's desperate legal maneuver becomes today's declaration of confidence. And money is no object when you didn't earn it yourself, but instead have it shoveled your way by lonely, middle-aged women desperate to belong to a cause, yet too undiscerning to find a legitimate one. So he will undoubtedly continue to burn his subscribers' hard-earned and easily parted with cash on desperate, failing maneuvers.
We're going to have to appeal the anti-slap, and that's going to be another, 75 G's probably.
Keeping the cope flowing strong, and once again illustrating why it's a really good thing he's no longer a teacher, Carney has now convinced himself that if he can just teach the jury to care more about acquitting him than they do about sex and alcohol, he will prevail at trial and everything will magically fall back into place.
I was an 11th grade history teacher, man. You understand how hard it is to teach, to get 11th grade kids who are thinking, all they want to think about is two things: booze and pussy. That's all they care about, because it's all new to them when they're in 11th grade. For the first time, booze and pussy are around. And that's all I was thinking about when I was in 11th grade. I wasn't thinking about history. I was thinking about booze and pussy. Okay? And I could give a shit less what my history teacher was saying. And so I had to teach 11th graders to give a shit about the Spanish-American War and the USS Maine. They don't give a shit about that. But I had to make them. I had to find a way to make them care. Okay? You understand how talented that is? The skill that takes to get 11th graders to give a shit about that? To get them to pay attention and like it and enjoy it? I did that. That's my greatest accomplishment ever. Wasn't anything I've done here is what I did in the classroom. Okay? And that is the jury to me. The jury is a class of my students who I just need to explain this to, and everything will be fine. Okay? And I have to get them to care, and I have to get them to understand. And that's what I'm going to do. Period. End of story. And it's going to happen. So.
He also vowed revenge on all those trolls and haters who have doubted this totally fail-proof plan.
Do it. Prosecute me. Do it. It'll be the best Christmas ever. Ever. The best Christmas ever. You know? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit any of these people. And I'll never forget the people who, you don't think I'm taking on names, motherfucker? Of every single person who doubted me? You don't think I'm screenshotting everything, saving everything, remembering every person who thought that they could kick me when I'm down? Do it. Do it. Do it. I can't wait. I Can't fucking wait.
None of this completely meritless and clearly performative bravado, however, stopped Carney from accidentally dismantling his own defense in front of his live audience, though.
The name of the video is protesting Michael Morrissey. That was the intent of this, was to protest Michael Morrissey's hostage video. It was 5 days afterwards. Now listen to what precedes that. They don't play anything that precedes that. I'll just pick a random spot. Let's see what happens.
Out at the Billerica lacrosse game a couple months ago, and then all of a sudden she stopped coming to court dates. Hey, here they are. Yes, you love it. Love it. Man, people find out. You got it. 507, so I love it. Yeah, that's true. It's 7 o'clock. He's getting labor. He's probably this all day. Does he even drive? Does he know? Watch out for him. They say Aaron Reed, the bad driver. At least she doesn't pass out behind the wheel in the middle of the day. After a one-time episode that never came back. I'm like, thank God. Whatever happened to Michael Morrissey that day? It was just a one-time thing. He hasn't cleaned cars. He stopped cleaning cars. Okay, so it was just a one-time thing. But we see a lot of free. I mean, I'm seeing free Aaron Reed stuff everywhere. I live in Holden. There's right next door in Hubbardston. Driving through the other day. Route 58. Boom. Free Aaron Reed. This stuff is everywhere. So we need to continue to spread the word. Every single person in North.
This stuff is everywhere. Like, we're educating the public.
I don't want to belabor his disappointment in his criminal cases too much, though, because there was more bad news to come. Not only did his motion to dismiss in criminal court go poorly, but his motion to dismiss in the multi-million-dollar defamation lawsuit against him was a disaster as well.
In fact, what Mr. Carney has done, and what Ms. Reed has done by conspiring with him, is pursued an unlawful campaign of harassment and intimidation, and a tool that they used in connection with that campaign was defamation. And so this, I think, the findings of Judge Krupp and Judge Doolin really just point to a truism. And that truism is, in the history of the United States, there has never been a case that we can find in which the court ruled that one citizen may publicly accuse another of murder outside of any reporting to government and be immune from civil liability for it. There's no case. Mr. Pyle has not cited any case. It would be a radical expansion of anti-SLAPP protections for this court to find that. And that is highlighted by Judge Doolin's and Judge Krupp's conclusions that what Mr. Carney was doing with respect to these witnesses, and again, I think it's important to separate what we've alleged in the complaint, which has to do with conduct directed towards these witnesses, versus other conduct he may have been involved in, relating to the DA or the investigation or whatever it may have been. What we've alleged is a course of conduct directed at these witnesses. What Judge Krupp and Judge Doolin analyzed was the conduct he directed at these witnesses, and they found that there was no constitutional protection for it, which is exactly what we are saying in this case, that there was no constitutional protection for his defamatory and harassing conduct. The defamation here being in service of an effort not to petition the government, but an effort to intimidate and browbeat these witnesses into changing their testimony. And we make a specific allegation in the complaint in that regard, where Mr. Carney says, this will all stop if you flip. He's not petitioning the government to get these witnesses to flip. He's petitioning the witnesses themselves, and he's encouraging others to intimidate them in order to create that outcome for Ms. Reed.
So, Attorney Pyle, along that issue, it would appear that your position is that the anti-SLAPP statute and the cases interpreting it preclude someone who has been publicly accused of murder by Mr. Carney from prosecuting an action such as this.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't understand the question.
Well, let's talk about context for a second, because many of Mr. Carney's actions could be interpreted as seeking to make the plaintiff's lives miserable. In fact, he says something where he said somewhere, I forget where I read it, they'll never live a normal life.
By the end of the week, that effort had decisively failed. I don't think Carney has the wisdom or foresight to fully understand just how disastrous the failed anti-SLAPP motion in his civil case truly was, even though he's a really smart and refined guy and all.
The fuck is that sound? Is there a bird in my house? Hold on. All right, there's no bird. There's no bird in the house. It was outside. Okay, cool.
First and foremost, he has repeatedly emphasized that the motion cost him, or more specifically his subscribers, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the reality is that the case has barely even begun. He has not answered the complaint, engaged in discovery, or participated in depositions. Now that his motion to dismiss has been denied outright, all of that still lies ahead, along with the significant legal costs that come with it. And what those hundreds of thousands of dollars produced were arguments so weak that any reasonably informed and intellectually honest observer could have predicted the outcome before it was ever drafted, filed, or argued. If the act of repeatedly accusing people who have never been charged with any crime of a heinous one was protected petitioning activity, there would be virtually no defamation suits filed in this country. It's just common sense. The money he continues asking strangers to provide, was spent trying to achieve a result that was never realistically attainable. But the damage is not limited to wasted resources. The ruling also creates a significant tension between the arguments he has advanced in his criminal case and those he has relied upon in his civil defense. In his criminal case, Carney has repeatedly argued that he lacked the necessary intent to interfere with Karen Read's criminal trial to convict him, despite his own public statements before his arrest that appear to suggest otherwise. Yet in the civil case, his argument depends on portraying his conduct as specifically aimed at influencing that same legal proceeding.
The context is extremely important. And to say in the abstract that it can never be petitioning to accuse somebody of murder ignores that line of cases. You must look at the context in which this all occurred. The pending judicial proceeding against Karen Read, Mr. Carney's campaign to try to ensure that those charges would be dropped and the plaintiffs would be charged instead.
Those two positions are difficult to reconcile. The very argument he needs to prevail in the civil case risks undermining the argument he needs to prevail in the criminal case, and now he's put both on record and discussed both extensively on recorded videos he has posted to the internet. And just to further complicate things, he has now been indicted by a grand jury in New Jersey for cyber harassment, which he fears could trigger a bail revocation here in Massachusetts.
Today's the indictment. No, it would be jail. It would not be prison. It would be jail for 60 days in the dead of House of Corrections. If that happens, if bail was revoked. And obviously that would be hell. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but you can imagine the stress this causes me.
Just to be clear, bail revocation is a possibility for Carney, but not necessarily a probability. Even if prosecutor Robert Cosgrove decides to pursue it, the ultimate decision rests with the judge. In Massachusetts, it is unlikely that a nonviolent offense alone would result in bail revocation. The reality of the situation hasn't stopped Carney from using the situation, and his children, to emotionally manipulate his audience into giving him more money, though.
Seeing my son there today and then knowing that there are people out there, right, who want me away from him. And I know that's going to be called emotional manipulation. They're going to be like, that's emotional manipulation.
He must understand on some level that his newest legal situation is less dire than he would like the public to believe, because not even 5 minutes after insisting he would not speak about the alleged victim in his new New Jersey cyber harassment case, he launched into a 3-hour tirade about her during a stream that was, ironically, later removed by YouTube for harassment and bullying. Or maybe he just really is that stupid and impulsive. In fact, the entire situation that resulted in this new indictment appears to have been incredibly impulsive and reckless. He was contacted by a woman from New Jersey who wanted to do something deeply fucked up. He then enthusiastically joined in on it, offering encouragement and instruction. Then, after she decided she no longer supported him and announced that she would no longer provide him with money, he responded by doxing her, publicly condemning her for the very conduct they had participated in together, and escalating the situation to the point that a New Jersey grand jury determined there may have been a violation of the law.
People are saying, Elle Woods took her Twitter down. That was fast. Oh, it's gone. That was quick. You fucking skank, Lindsay. I am going to fucking have so much fun with you.
Did you take your Facebook down yet? Let me check that one out. Let me see if you took that one down yet. No, you might want to take the Facebook down too. I'm going to go into there right now. You are a licensed clinical psychologist at Atlantic County Government, Linwood, New Jersey. Okay. What? I mean, you wanted to fuck with me, Lindsay? You thought that would be a wise idea? I did nothing to you, girl. I did nothing to you. I was respectful to you. I was nice to you. But you're like, you know what? I'm going to go start a fucking fight with Turtleboy. Well, let's see how that fucking works out for you, skank. Because that's what you fucking are. I read all your messages with Paul O'Keefe. You are a fucking skank hoe who was sexting with a married man. No judgment, right? But that's ultimately what you were doing. Am I frozen? You were sexting with a married man, okay? And you were fucking lying to him about, your interest in him. But part of me, when I read your messages, it sounds like you're actually in love with him. Like, it sounds like you really are fucking in love with him. But you're also fucking with him a little bit too. And you have 2 kids and you're little Miss Innocent and blah, blah, blah. And you're going through a fucking divorce, you told me. And so it's not cheating and blah, blah, blah and whatever. But like, you are a piece of shit. You and Paul deserve each other. You really fucking do. You actually deserve each other. And we're going to have some fun with you because I don't know what on earth made you thought it would be a good idea to fuck with me, of all people. Run your fucking cock kisser. And I'm sure you've kissed a lot of cocks with that cock kisser. A lot of them. And we're going to have some fun with you, dear, because that was a mistake. That was a big mistake on your part. Okay? Anyway, because again, I don't know why these people fuck with me. I don't know why they think this would be a good idea. I don't know why, And people are like, oh, she made friends with Essie. Well, that kind of explains it. I mean, she wanted that smoke. She can get it. She can get it. Let's go.
This is not real journalism. This story right here is not real journalism. This is spite. Nothing but pure, unadulterated spite. So there we go.
This inability to just ignore a critic and let it go has reportedly cost his subscribers an additional $60,000, if the figures he throws out while e-begging are to be believed.
I had to give my New Jersey attorney $60,000 yesterday, just like that. Boom. Imagine that. 60 grand. Gone. Just like that.
And in the midst of all this legal turmoil, Gretchen Voss released a new article for Boston Magazine. A comprehensive piece detailing what it describes as a coordinated campaign of witness harassment, intimidation, and defamation involving Carney, Karen Reed, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and Reed's attorneys. Nearly everyone mentioned in the article wisely chose not to engage with it publicly, likely recognizing that there was little to gain from doing so. The notable exceptions were Carney.
That's my question when I read her article, was like, did anyone edit this? Did they just let anything happen? Like, are you just allowed to just post whatever you want? Like, was there any editorial oversight? Did he look it over at all and say, where is your evidence of this? What's your source for this? I need to. And it was really unprofessional for her to use all those anonymous sources as well. Linda Pizzuti is John Henry's hoe. That's what she is. She is a hoe. Don't get like when you see Linda Pizzuti, she's the one who married John Henry, the owner of the Boston Globe and the Boston Red Sox, who's like, 30 years older than her. She's hot, this and that. That's what we call, if that was anything, if she had a heroin addiction, we would call her a hooker, right? So I'm going to call her a hooker because that's what people like her are. If you fuck old rich guys, I apologize, I'm not supposed to swear. If you bang old rich guys who you're quite clearly not attracted to physically or anything like that, just because they are rich, you're a hoe. I don't know if you realize that. Like, Linda Pizzuti is a hoe. She's a hooker.
And attorney David Yannetti, who completely melted down and took to Twitter to demand to speak to the manager and air their grievances over what amounted to 2 minor clarifications.
That is outrageous. We are outraged.
This week also presented no shortage in intrapersonal strife for the terminally unlikable and probably clinically narcissistic Carney, who rehashed his bitter hatred for Mike Crawford, LTL, Jessica Machado, and now former ally Nurse Kim and her fiancé as well.
I don't need anyone. I got to where I am today by myself. Well, I need Laura from London. I take that back. I need her. And I need Erica Walsh. Okay? And I love Will, and this isn't a shot at Will. I don't need Will. I don't need anyone. The fact that he has 60,000 followers is all from me. And he knows that. He had, 10,000 before, something like that? No one was watching the show. And then he had me on. Same with Crawford. The second they have me on, magically, their shit goes up. That's why they can't stop talking about me. What do you think, Machado has 10,000 viewers randomly because she's so talented, because a lot of people, there was a market out there for, geez, you know what I really need in my life? A menopausal woman who drives around screaming into a phone, right? That's what I need. Where can I find one? Where can I find one? In sub fast. Where can I do that? No. The one thing all of these people have in common is the Turtleboy industrial complex. They were like, even if you hate me, you can build up a following. But it's better if you know. Look at this loser on the left. This fucking homosexual loser. Just go, mm, 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 mm. Yeah. I mean, these two retards. That's what Nurse Kim wanted her audience to believe I did to her, that I used my children to emotionally manipulate her into lying for me. First of all, I didn't do that with her. That is a complete and total lie and fabrication. Everything she said on there was a lie. I didn't respond to it because when I saw that happen, I'm like, I don't give a shit. She's just dead to me.
His crusade to destroy Karen Reed continued as well, as he highlighted that she paid only a fraction of the $1 million+ she raised toward actual legal fees. This leaves open the question of where the remainder of the money actually went, a question that could create additional headaches for her in future civil proceedings.
My legal bills have officially surpassed $1 million. We're over $1 million bucks, bro. Karen Reed didn't have close to $1 million, not even close to that. Each of her lawyers was $200,000. That's it. Bob Alessi was free. They're very upset that Karen Reed was acquitted of murder. They're blaming me for it.
He also yet again implicated her in the witness intimidation. It's still unclear whether this is being done out of spite or just because he may be the dumbest criminal of all time.
They don't want me to be innocent of witness intimidation. They want me to be guilty of witness intimidation, which means Karen's guilty too. Like her and I spoke all the time. What's wrong with the messages with David Unetti? Yeah, you're right. If you think I talked to Karen Reed a lot more than I talked to David Unetti, dude. Careful what you're saying there, pal. Careful what you're saying, right? They want her so bad.
In case you may have forgotten what a soulless piece of shit he is, the terminally unemployed Carney also took a moment to revel in the joy he receives from getting random industry staff who do not meet his unspecified service standards fired.
We want people who are really bad at their job to be fired in general. Like when I go to a restaurant and the waitress is really, really bad and is on her phone and isn't attending, I want her fired because she's bad at her job. Period. Anywhere I go and the service is bad, the bad employee should go.